Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends on where are you dialing in from. So my name is Joy from the World Green Building Council Asia Pacific Program Head. I'm also the founder of Joy of Sustainability, specializing in building sustainability and positive psychology. So big welcome to the World Green Building Council Asia Pacific Health and Wellbeing webinar. This is the opening event during the World Green Building Council Asia Pacific Festival, which we have a designated theme for each month. So last month, we had the climate action. We had run the 24 hours event to showcase the net zero solutions all around the world. You can also follow us in the Facebook and also the YouTube link to learn more about the solutions in other companies. And for this month in July is the month of health and well-being. So we always say that if, let's say, the advancing of net zero is something we should do, but health and well-being is something we must do because this is directly relevant to every one of us, close to your heart, close to your family, and close to the environment you are in as well. So today, we are very excited to have a group of organizations that will share their vision and practices with you regarding the health and well-being. And we will also have 4 green building councils in Asia Pacific networks to share about their initiative regarding the health and well-being as well. So without further ado, let me introduce the first speaker that we will have our program officer. So the first speaker we have is the Director of Strategy and Development in World Green Building Council. So I will hand over to the stage to Katrina.
Thank you, Joy. I'm well, thank you. How are you? Yeah, we must ask everybody how they are, given it's a health and well-being festival.
Precisely. All right, so glad to see you excited and also see you very well. So the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Joy, and good morning, everybody. It's bright and early here in London, as you can hopefully see behind me this morning, and it's my absolute pleasure to be able to support the APN Festival as we kick off the month of health and well-being. As Joy was saying, this is a topic we must address, and for all of us around the world, as we continue battling through the COVID-19 pandemic, this is a topic that's close to our hearts. It's continuing to impact our life, and I think it's still incredibly important that we dedicate this day and this month to thinking about how we can adapt our built environment to benefit people and the planet. So as Joy kindly introduced me, my name is Katrina Brady. I'm the Director of Strategy and Development at the World Green Building Council, and I have the great pleasure of working on our Better Places for People global programme, which is one of the 3 global programmes at World GBC dedicated to health and well-being, where I have the pleasure of working with over 30 green building councils from around the world. Today, as you can see from my slides, I'm going to be diving into the principles of health and well-being for the built environment that the World Green Building Council has developed and is advocating for. And these predominantly are coming from our health and well-being framework. So the content around health and well-being that you will hear from myself, from our partners, from our green building councils today is incredibly expansive. And I'm hopeful that you will see many references to this framework that we released back in 2020. I will dive into this in more detail in a couple of minutes' time, but just to highlight that our definition of health and well-being that we are talking about today is health and well-being in the built environment for the occupant, but also for the community, but also for the planet. We are thinking about health in its broadest scale, and also in terms of time, we're thinking about health and well-being across the entire life cycle of the built environment. So everything from the health and well-being of construction workers to those sourcing the materials at the very beginning of the supply chain. So that's why we have that slogan on our slide, taking a whole life cycle approach to health and well-being in the built environment, and that's what we will be advocating for this month. So if I can begin with a few words of background. The Better Places for People global programme was launched in 2013 and was launched with a flagship Health and Wellbeing in Offices report, which was extremely interesting, very novel for its time. And perhaps many of you will either have seen it already or may be interested to review it. You can still find it on the World Green Building Council website. And in that report, back in 2013, and in follow-up reports through 2015, 16, 17, 18, the World Green Building Council and many other partners, including the friends of ours who certify healthy buildings at Well, at Fitwell, and of course the Green Building Councils, were recognising the business case for healthy buildings, particularly in commercial environments. The image on the left, the graph on the left, comes from that 2014 report, Health, Wellbeing and Productivity in Offices, where it was visually demonstrated that for a standard office-based commercial organisation, 90% of their overheads actually are spent on their people. And so the theory of change in terms of productivity, in terms of profitability here, was that if your staff could be healthier and happier, have fewer sick days, be more incentivized to come into work and to be more productive when they're there, lower risk of presenteeism, and be happier at work, less likely to leave and change organizations, then we would experience, or an organization would experience, higher turnover, higher financial reward because of the fact that their employees are that much more productive. And there are fantastic case studies of that. And we have some great speakers in the lineup today who I think will be able to provide us some case studies of this business case in action. Really, it all comes down to the fact that we spend 90% of our time indoors, higher, I'm sure, during certain times of the year, and certainly higher during periods of lockdown and global pandemic. So this business case has been a really solid and robust basis to raising the global awareness about health and well-being, and is still a way in which we can use health and well-being to increase engagement in the broader topic of sustainability. However, just to challenge the conversation a bit, back in 2020, the World Green Building Council and partners and the green building councils around the world spent a lot of time thinking and reconsidering what health and well-being should mean as a topic. This was the basis of the health and well-being framework that I showed you a few moments ago. And the outcome of those conversations was a recognition that health and well-being, for the first half decade that we had been really talking about it in earnest in some of these markets, was very focused on the building occupant. We also recognized that there was a natural focus on commercial buildings, but we don't spend all of our time in the workplace. We spend the majority of our time in our homes. I think we spend a third of our lives in our beds, actually. I'd love to spend a third of my day in our beds, but the recognition is that the health and well-being industry within the sustainable building world needs to take this broader and more holistic approach, and it needed to tackle all typologies, not just offices, but homes, schools, hospitals, infrastructure, and all of these wider areas of the built environment that we interact with every day. And that led us to the position and the strategy that we have today. Our consultation demonstrated that the built environment sector is ready to expand its focus into all sectors of society so that we can unite the conversations around health and around social equity and value to align with World GBC's targets of looking to improve the life and the environment for everyone, everywhere. So that brings me to the World Green Building Council Health and Wellbeing Framework. As you will see, the link to the framework is available on the slide just here. I can pop it in the comments box shortly. I would also love to invite any questions via the comments box. I'd be happy to address them now or to pick them up later in the session. But for now, let's dive into the content of this framework. You can see there are these 6 beautifully multicolored principles for the built environment across the life cycle. And this is that high-level halo graphic that we use to communicate this holistic expanse of different principles that we are advocating must be included in our definition of health and well-being. So I hope you can see this slide. I appreciate there's a lot of detail on it, but I will talk us through it in some detail. This image is also published in the Health and Wellbeing Framework Executive Report, so you can dive into that. It's on the World GBC website. The link has just been posted in the comments box. But looking at the top green principle that says protect health, that principle is such a broad statement that there are a number of sub-principles underneath it. Those are improving air quality, for which we're talking not just about indoor air quality, but we're also talking about outdoor or ambient air pollution, the impact of the built environment and construction sector in impacting both of these. Secondly, water quality, not just the availability, but also the quality of the water that we drink within our homes, our schools, our offices, which actually has been a really big issue for many of us around the world as we've returned to offices after such an extensive period of lockdown, and there has been great risk of Legionella and other standing water bacterial issues as we've returned to these places of work that have stood absent for such a long time. The third sub-principle is around mental health. This was a really important area for us to highlight, and there always has been quite a traditional bias on physical health within the conversations, particularly here in Europe. I know that many of the green building councils around the world, such as India GBC, who we will hear from shortly, have always been leaders in thinking about health in its most holistic form. So we wanted to ensure that we recognized and honored that. So the third principle is around mental health and the impact of our indoor environment, our outdoor environment, our community, urban planning and infrastructure in positively impacting our mental health and encouraging that social connection. The fourth principle, of course, is around infectious disease. We were writing this framework in 2020. So when we first began the consultation, none of us had heard the word COVID before, but we certainly had to reflect the changing nature of the conversation of health and the impact of this global pandemic on the built environment. So there is a lot of content in there that we will be continuing to update as we explore more and more innovative pathways and solutions to creating healthy indoor and outdoor environments. The second principle is around comfort, and this is one of these traditional areas of health and well-being that we would all be quite familiar with, including areas like thermal comfort, lighting, acoustics, ergonomic comfort, olfactory comfort, visual comfort, good design, these broader areas that make us feel mentally and physically comfortable and relaxed in a space, reducing our stress, enhancing our health. And that also includes the content around inclusive design for inclusivity, comfort, and health. The third principle, I'm looking at the bottom right of my slide, is design for harmony between the natural and built environment. And this, I think, is a very important principle to include here, because we talk an awful lot about the need for bio-based materials from an embodied carbon perspective or a circularity perspective. But I think it's also really important for us to highlight the fact that using natural materials and bringing nature into our buildings and ensuring we have access to nature immediately around us is incredibly beneficial to us mentally and physically in terms of the biophilic effect, the fact that we feel more relaxed in nature. It's just intrinsic human psychology. We feel calmer when we are in nature than we do if we're surrounded by concrete, but also, of course, for the biodiversity benefits and the opportunities for nature-based solutions. Our fourth principle ties closely into that around facilitating positive behaviour and health. And this is around how we can create a built environment that encourages people to make healthier choices or to avoid unhealthy choices for both people and planet. So that includes active design, active and low carbon modes of transportation. It also includes nutrition and hydration. And although we're not going as far as some health-based certifications to recommend or ban specific ingredients, what we are doing is trying to pose opportunity for people to be situated in a place that it encourages them to make healthier choices. And again, there's a lot of research that demonstrated when people had the opportunity to sit in nature or to sit not in nature, they would choose to sit in nature. There are stress benefits, there are dietary management benefits that have all been demonstrated through extensive research. So that's very interesting. And the other benefit to that is, of course, social connectivity, that we are a social creature, we are a social animal, and we must ensure that our built environment facilitates that engagement in the workplace, in the hospital, in the school, and particularly in the home and in our surrounding community. And that's certainly something we've all, I'm sure, been very aware of in the past few years. Penultimately is around creating positive social value. And this is a topic that's really, really close to my heart, actually, that we must move away from only talking about the occupants of the building, because yes, the occupants are incredibly important. We're all probably occupants of buildings right now, wherever we are listening to this. However, the opportunity for our sector to take conscientious action around the addressing of human rights and modern slavery in the construction sector is absolutely essential. A bit closer to home, we have construction worker health and well-being, both mental and physical health and well-being of construction workers is a really, really big problem. Here in the UK, occupational cancer risk is highest for men in the construction sector, and there are also strong links to mental health issues as well. Then once a building is occupied, is operational, we have the opportunity to benefit community health and to create social value. How can we ensure that a building or development or infrastructure asset is creating jobs, is advancing biodiversity, is helping to create a more resilient and climate adaptable future? How can we make sure that a building is positively benefiting the local area rather than detracting from it? And finally, we have take climate action. And this obviously is very relevant for the fact that we were talking about climate action in last month's Asia Pacific Festival, and we will continue to do so because climate action is also a health priority. We are talking about climate change mitigation, certainly, because climate change will impact people, their livelihoods, their health around the world, but we will also be focusing on adaptation and resilience. Incidentally, World GBC is working on a resilience guide at the moment to extract some of the information from this framework and to publish it in a more shareable, easy to use way. And we will be having a webinar about it during World Green Building Week in September. So do keep your eyes peeled for that. I think that will be a very useful resource. And in climate action, we also have water efficiency, resource efficiency, and material health as well, linking into the circularity conversation as well, but highlighting the fact again that a circular economy, a circular and sustainable building mustn't include materials that are toxic or polluting to human health, because then it cannot be treated in this continual looping manner. So that's been a slight deep dive into these 6 principles. There's so much more detail around each one of these in the executive report and in the full digital version of the framework that you will find on the website. And I can also point you towards our implementation guide, which has all of these principles in checklist form. I appreciate this font is very small, so I apologize if you can't see it fully, but it has all of these sub-principles I was just talking about, as well as the link to the relevant sustainable development goal, a description of the outcome, and an indication of what kind of actor in the supply chain should be thinking about this. So If you are interested in taking these principles and implementing them into a project, whether it's at design stage, whether it's retrofit, whether it's an operational building and you're looking to expand the strategy of your sustainability target areas and you want to do more on health and well-being, I would encourage you to download this checklist. It's only 2 pages and it's quite easy to be able to target individual areas of the health and well-being framework as your priority for areas to start off. At this point, I would also love to share that the Better Places for People Steering Committee of Green Building Councils are working at the moment on using the principles of the Health and Wellbeing Framework to create a guide around how we can create sustainable, healthy, affordable housing. So we're specifically thinking about how we take those principles, how we align them with the key priorities around net zero and climate action and circularity, to demonstrate that affordable and low-income housing must also meet these sustainability goals. And we are hard at work on that. At the moment, we will be releasing an early indication at the end of this year and the full report at the beginning of next year. And we're working with many of the partners on the call today and the Green Building Councils to create a robust definition, set of principles and guidance that is relevant for around the world. So do keep in touch if you'd like to be involved in that. These are the organisations and the Green Building Councils who are contributing to that report. So it's with our great appreciation that we thank all of these organisations and Green Building Councils for their continued support and technical input. And we will also be releasing a call for case studies via these Green Building Councils and via the World GBC social media channels to try and capture some case studies of affordable housing that meets these sustainability criteria very soon. So, as I said, please do get in touch if you'd be interested to be involved in that. We are compiling research as we speak, and the call for case studies will be released soon. In my last few remarks, I'd love to finally encourage you to explore the Global Case Study Library, where we have a collation of over 100 case studies of both net zero and healthy buildings from around the world. You can find this via the World Green Building Council website. We are in the process of updating it at the moment, so it also includes content on the circular economy, which we've recently launched a global program around. So you can expect some updates to this library soon, and we will continue to showcase the case studies that we think help to demonstrate what it is we're striving for to see the principles that we've talked about in implementation. So as my closing remarks, I would love to share a call to action for the industry that we need to consider the health, well-being and quality of life for all people impacted by the building and construction sectors at all the stages of the life cycle. We invite you to use this framework alongside many other tools and resources that you will hear about today to improve health and well-being, not only in your building and community, but also across the construction sector and material sourcing supply chain as well, so that we can work towards a sustainable and healthy built environment for everyone, everywhere. Thank you very much for having me. I'd welcome any follow-up questions in the chat box. And thank you, Joy. I'll hand back to you.
Thank you, Katrina. It's very nice to have our framework has that diversity to cover so many areas, but pointing to one core, which is us. Yeah. So I'm actually very interested to learn more about how the organizations are interpreting this framework and put in their own strategy area as well. So exciting.
Exciting indeed. I know it will be great to hear about it. Thank you for letting me share this.
Thank you, Katrina. So next, we will have Marcus Liu from AGC. AGC has been our regional partner in Asia Pacific Network for 6 years already. So I'm very honored that we wanted to hear more from them, that how their company are relating to the health and well-being and how they're bringing the health and well-being to their products as well. So let's hear from Marcus.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marcus from AGC Asia Pacific. Today, I'll present to you about health and well-being with AGC. Let's start right away. We, AGC, is a material manufacturer with more than a century's worth of legacy worldwide. Since the beginning, we believe in our role as a global company to look beyond and to provide value across all aspects of life. Safety, comfort, health, sustainability, and care for the society always have been the core of our business operations. We are glad to present to you today a glimpse of how our glass and chemical products reflect our philosophy and also aligns itself with the World Green Building Council's health and well-being framework. Let's start right away. Let us start by talking about our planet's health. AGC believes in taking climate action by optimizing our production processes and by having suitable products to enable their users the ability to do the same. An example of our production process includes AGC's glass-colored recycling. Glass is an endlessly recyclable product. By using our resources effectively, we can avoid unwanted greenhouse gas emissions during our production. For example, for every 1 ton of glass-colored recycled, we can avoid 0.7 tons of carbon dioxide emission. Trickling down to the products we make, our coated glass are designed with important solar and thermal control properties. A building's heating and cooling energy demand is a great contributor to energy consumption and operational carbon. Our products unite the control properties that allow for more efficient building envelopes while offering architects the ability to design captivating aesthetics for the building. If you look at the chart on the left here, a simple forward calculation here shows how much cooling energy demand can be saved by switching from a clear float to our solar control low emissivity glass synergy. Next, we would like to talk about how we can prioritize comfort through the use of coated glass. Using AGC's coated glass, thermal comfort can be optimized as our glass helps in regulating the solar radiant temperature that penetrates into the internal space. Additionally, our coated glass have good selective ability to reduce heat penetration while letting in enough natural light. They also come in various shades and tints as a good strategy to help with glare control. If you look at the images on the bottom right here, you see a comparison of a clear float and the improvements that come by using a Synergy Euro Grey. Let's now talk about safety. There is an increasing need for safe passive designs, including passive fire protection that complies to various countries' fire and building codes. How about a product that answers also the architect's need for transparency and a seamless view? AGC Parabel is our glass solution to this. It is our fire-resistant glass. It makes our living and working space safer by safeguarding people and property and ensuring stability of structural elements in case of a fire outbreak. Parabel also comes in a wide range of fire insulating properties which can cater to different requirements. Available in multi-laminated glass combination, it offers thermal and acoustic insulation. Its transparency also allows daylight to come through, enhancing comfort while ensuring safety of occupants. The next slide shows how our material can influence health. An interior space matters as much as our food and daily necessities and activities too when it comes to health. On average, we spend 90% of our time indoors. Having good indoor air quality becomes a concern for many occupants. AGC takes great care in the production of our interior glass, such as Mirox MNGE and Lacobel and Metalac, to ensure our product emits safe levels of volatile organic compounds. As our decorative glass is installed in interior spaces, occupants can be assured of healthy indoor air quality, which contribute to their health and well-being. Another notable example on health protection includes our specialty glass Panibel EC. Upon exposure to sunlight, its coating enables photocatalysis that can accelerate the destruction of viral particles, including the COVID-19 virus. This may reduce the risk of transmission by surface contact. Additionally, the glass is also easy to wipe and clean due to its hydrophilic properties. Other than glass products, AGC also focuses on other materials to create a healthy space for people. We will now talk about some interesting chemical products. AGC Lumiflon is an FEVE transparent resin. It is used in coating formulation that provides excellent weatherability and low volatile organic compounds. Lumiflon-based aluminum composite panel, called as Alpolic by Mitsubishi, has excellent durability as well as various finishes, including an antiviral finish. The antiviral finish has been certified by the Society of Industrial Technology for Antimicrobial Articles, called SIAA. Mitsubishi Alpolic also has a lower carbon dioxide emission during its manufacturing process and uses recycled content as its raw material. Another product to help realize a healthy lifestyle is Exesta. It is a resin used in sealant formulation. Exesta-based sealant uses hybrid system between silicon and polyurethane, known as modified silicon or MS sealant. AGC partners with Sharp Chemicals to make Exesta-based sealant Sharpie to have a less odor and also lower in volatile organic compounds, with emission rates of formaldehyde less than or equal to 0.005 milligrams per meter square hour. Exesta-based sealant is environmentally friendly and offers a healthy living space by preventing fungus growth, as shown on the bottom left corner here. In terms of cleanliness, MS sealant has lesser silicon oil content, minimizing dust attraction to the surface. To conclude, AGC provides a one-stop solution for sustainable building and construction. Our roots began as a glass company. We have extensive range of glass products such as high-performance, low emissivity glass, building integrated photovoltaic, and low volatile organic compounds in interior glass, which serves as an energy efficient and energy creation solution. Now our portfolio includes outstanding and purposeful chemical products such as durable coating resin for liquid and powder-based applications, high-performance fluoropolymer film, and environmentally friendly sealant. Please visit our website to discover more of our products. Thank you for your attention. For more inquiries, you can also contact me. I'm Marcus from the Glass Division, or if you are interested to know more about non-glass products, you may contact Ms. Aviana from our Corporate Division. Thank you again for your attention today and see you soon.
Thank you, Marcus. And this is very interesting to learn that how glass is a very strong element in the health and well-being framework as well. So next, very exciting, we have our best friend from the World Green Building Council, Ms. Esther. So she has been very passionate in supporting World Green Building Council in the global level and also the regional level as well. How are you, Esther?
I'm good, thank you, Joy. Yeah, I'm sorry my voice is not as good as normal. I'm just tested positive COVID yesterday, but I'm okay.
All right, thank you so much for that resilience and also that support to everyone. Again, in the theme of the health and well-being, we wish you a speedy recovery as well.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much.
You.
So shall I start now?
Yes,
yeah,
please.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and pardon me for my voice. And well, definitely Katrina gave a very good start on health and well-being, how important it is, for builders like us. We are developer based in Singapore, but present in 29 countries and regions. And we have built home for almost 60 years now, and also commercial properties and hotel management as well. So let me share a little bit more about some actual, cases to support the health and well-being framework. Yeah. Go to the next slide. And I think definitely climate emergency has taken a toll of humanity, and it has already, proven that it has actually impacted on a lot of people on their medical and physical health and also mental health. And studies show that there are a lot of, especially younger people, are suffer from so-called climate anxiety. And of course, it has also affected, some humans, aggressive behavior, and some even turn violence and crime as well. And then, of course, we are talking about COVID, and all of us have, almost like firsthand information, experience of having COVID. And so in 2020, COVID has actually increased 130 over million cases of major depressive or anxiety disorder. And the impact is especially strong among younger people, and especially from the 17 to the 30 years old group, and the increase also higher amongst the females than male. So I think definitely COVID, health and climate emergencies have really taken a toll of the health and well-being of people. So now what a property developer and landlord play a role in helping to manage health and to tackle the health of planet, people, and economy. And they are all interconnected and all interdependent. And well, let me borrow the wisdom of Winston Churchill that we shape our buildings and afterwards our buildings shape us, which is very true, whether it is the physical being or ecological aspect, social aspect, or psychological aspect. Our living or workspace and even community space have a huge impact on people's health and well-being. And just now, Katrina talked about the 6 principles for a healthy and sustainable built environment, which we totally agree. And also we find a lot of alignment between this Gpc's well-being framework with our local BCA, Singapore Building and Construction Authority Green Marks criteria. A lot are related to whether it is energy, health and well-being, air quality, and natures and all. Let me go into some of the example. And in fact, the global race to net zero has been really gaining fast traction. And since last Glasgow COP26, we have seen really great adoption of net zero, and now the supporting organizations, cities, and companies and investors account for almost 90% of the global GDP. And back home here in Singapore, we have our Singapore Green Plan, which was set up in 2021 to help Singapore's to work towards net zero by or around 2050. And the 5 principles are actually quite similar to what, the Gpc's framework is all about. It's also about city in nature, how we can build green and livable and sustainable home, that it is close to nature, and how we can also, as a builder, to facilitate and enable sustainable living, and whether it is water, waste management, or how to provide a healthier and productive work living space. And energy is always a top priority, because when we talk about net zero, decarbonization is key. And now we are not looking at green building, we are looking at super low energy building by 2030. 80% of all our buildings should be green, and 80% of all new development should be super low energy. And all these will contribute to a green economy and resilient future. So let's, as a developer, home builder for almost 60 years now, we do believe in the magic of landscape. Greenery has actually proven to provide the peace and the satisfaction and the contentment, whether intellectually or physically. And for myself, taking a walk with, in nature will always, refresh my body and mind and soul. And in fact, even medical data have also proven that, when you're close to nature, it will reduce anger, fear, and stress as well. So we are also making use of, all these so-called nature-based solutions to provide comfortable home for our residents. And this is actually one of our building called Treehouse Condominium. And it was actually the architecture, the whole design was inspired by its natural surrounding. It is surrounded by a reservoir and nature reserve. And that was actually natural for us to adopt the biodiversity impact assessment to make sure that we are not causing harm to the rich diversity there. And in fact, after the BIA, we have actually concluded that there were actually 99 native animals and 32 plant species there. So what we have done, it was, followed by a very careful selection of trees and plant species for our landscaping that can actually blend well with the surrounding as well, and how we can protect the biodiversity there. And this actually is the treehouse condominium, the front, and which has a very iconic green wall, 24-story high, which has actually made it to the Guinness World Record for the largest vertical garden from 2014 to June 2015. And this is not just aesthetically beautiful, it's also serving functional purpose that it has, after conducting a 1-year survey, it has found out that it can actually cool indoor spaces by up to 3 degrees or 30%. And it actually helped to save energy and also, you know, in a way, save costs for our residents there. And the entire condominium devoted about 77% of the site area for landscaping, greenery, water features, and all. So then, of course, this commitments to, you know, nature-based solutions and designs continue. And these are our more latest development. Both are under construction. Amber Park, we actually are going to be TOP in a couple of years. We devoted 65% of site area to facility, landscape, and also a lifestyle space as well. And the other one, Erwell Hill, is going to be TOP also in a few years' time. And 74% of the site area was devoted, you know, to landscape, water features, greenery, and there's a huge lawn with 4. So the mind is like water. When it's turbulent, it's difficult to see. When it's calm, everything becomes clear. That is the wisdom of the famous philosopher, and that is also what we believe in. Apart from greenery, we also believe in water. And this is a residence that we completed in 2015. That it became Singapore's first private development to be ABC water certified. ABC actually stands for Active, Beautiful and Clean Water, which is actually an initiative introduced by PUB, our Singapore's water agency. It will really encourage developers to embrace the water bodies around a development and try to embrace it and and make it seamless. And both blue and green have been always the signature of our development, whether for residential or commercial. This is actually one of our latest mixed development, comprising office and retail, residential and service apartment as well. It is actually at the heart of a CBD area. And again, biophilic design was a natural choice for us to include cascading gardens on the office facade, roof, and also sky gardens, as well as water feature throughout the facade here. And it was actually awarded BCA Green Mark Platinum Super Low Energy for both residential and commercial properties as well. And for super low energy means it has to be 60 to even 80% more energy efficient than the convention. And of course, just now we're all talking about health is so important. Indoor air quality, everything is very important. So we have to really reimagine how we design our building and spaces. And on the left-hand side, that you can see that this one, Amber Park, I shared earlier, the 65% of site area allocated for a landscape. It is also very creative that on the health and wellness features front, you can see on the top floor there is a 600-meter long jogging track connecting 3 tall blocks. So when you jog at the top of the building, you can really enjoy the sea breeze and also the sea view as well. And of course, there are also smart and healthy spaces that we are designing. And this particular condominium, we even use a new paint that is mold prevention and also air purifying components. And of course, we also provide home features that can help tenants or residents to actually check their air quality as well. So innovation can never stop because, and always technology, always smarter design and feature. That's why we actually partner with the local university, National University of Singapore, to set up 2 labs. One is Smart Green Home Lab. The other one is Tropical Technology Labs. We look at how do we, look at, anti-haze, air pollutions, and also, how to keep indoor space cool and all. And these are some of the features that whether it is to help to manage acoustic or antiviral disposable during COVID, it is very, very important to provide, peace of mind to our tenants and users of building. Then, of course, we have very robust tenant engagement. We can't do this alone for health and safety or net zero. We have to get our tenants to support because their footprint is our footprint as well. So we are very happy to have launched the Green Lease in 2014 with only about 60% participation. And in a couple of years, 2017, we achieved 100%. We give them green guideline for, retrofitting and also, what sort of material they should use. And tenant engagement continued even after they occupy. We have annual tenant survey for tenants to share their, what are their health and well-being concern, and also engage them to build knowledge and capacity as well. And we also set up established a City Nexus, a digital platform to help better tenant communication and service as well. And just now, Katrina talked about we should go out of the built environment. Community is very important. So we have actually a few national platform. This is our net zero green gallery at the Singapore Botanic Gardens, and we actually use it for to stage climate emergency type of climate action exhibition, and also hold events to educate the public what green building is all about, what climate action we should take. And this is, we did never forget the children from 3 to 12 years old. This is actually, we call it My Tree House, which is the world's first green library for children from 3 to 12 years old. And of course, that this is the last night now, and we hope that we could definitely work together. And real estate sector has a huge value chain, and we believe that by engaging the large ecosystem of stakeholders, we can raise resilience for climate, people, and economies as well. And we can all work together to advance change resilience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. It's really amazing to see the leading developer are putting health and well-being as their ultimate guideline. So that actually makes a very strong message for the users and gaining the confidence for them as well. Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you,
really hope a
Joy.
speedy recovery. Have a good
I'm
rest.
so sorry. I still have running nose and all. Yeah, thank you, and all the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, so next we'll have Lynette. Lynette is the Managing Director for Malaysia and Singapore from Saint-Gobain. We're very honored to have Saint-Gobain supporting us in the Asia Pacific Festival this year. Plus, CDL is also one of the partner with us as well. So next, let's hear from Lynette. Hi, Lynette, you look gorgeous today.
Thank you, Joy.
Hi, the stage is yours.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so health and well-being is a fundamental human right for every human. The health and well-being framework from WGBC, World Green Building Council, has provided a comprehensive tool for a healthy environment, which is shown in this slide. So the 6 principles in the framework provided detailed information on the key aspects of health, well-being, and quality of life that relate to the built environment. So in the context of Saint-Gobain, the key question arises from the framework are, what does this mean to Saint-Gobain in the context of health and also well-being? How can Saint-Gobain act and contribute to this effort? So in fact, Saint-Gobain's commitment is guided by the purpose, making the world a better home. The purpose has clearly defined our intent and 100% in line with health and also well-being framework as I mentioned above. So, but before I share what we do in terms of health and also well-being, let me quickly introduce to you about Saint-Gobain Group. So Saint-Gobain was founded over 350 years ago, present in 75 countries, about 800 manufacturing facilities, 3,500 sales outlets, and has more than 166,000 employees. So our company designs, manufacture, and distribute materials and service for the construction and industrial market. In terms of sustainability, I also would like to highlight that Saint-Gobain has committed to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. The chart here shows the background of our intent towards the target. Measurable KPI targets are set to facilitate the sustainability roadmap. So various actions have been, are, and will be implemented to support this vision. Okay, now in terms of health and well-being, we believe we can contribute lots of solutions. Okay, we have identified the following factors which will be important to achieve health and also well-being. So better health and comfortable buildings, growing demand and comfort solutions, growing demand for emission and ingredients disclosure, increased focus on hazardous substance in construction. Okay, this chart shows the summary and some of the examples that we do to improve health and well-being for our stakeholders like customers, workers, architects, and also our employees. So as a solution providers in the building industry, we develop and provide different solutions for healthy and comfortable buildings. The materials that use are green raw materials or green certified products for this purpose. We also develop solutions that can provide comfort for well-being, such as acoustic, visual, thermal comfort, whereby the brand name is called multi-comfort solutions. Customer will feel and enjoy the value of comfort and well-being by using this solution. So in addition to support growing demand of emission and ingredients disclosure, we have established EPD, declaration reports, etc. for identified product. So as health and well-being become important in construction industry, we also make sure our solution or our products meet the safety standard. So in-house software are used to develop credible safety data sheet, because we want our customer feel safe to use our product without any doubt. So last but not least, I would like to share some of the certified green product or solution under the Singapore Green Building Council. With that, I would like to end my presentation with a quote, let's make the world a better home. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynette. What a beautiful quote that really shows that how Saint-Gobain, from the product perspective, to gain confidence and also to allow the customers building trust from with you. Yeah, really amazing. So this is what we're hearing from Lynette regarding the regional level. So Saint-Gobain has been very, very helpful in supporting World Green Building Council at the both regional level and also the global level as well. So you're also our corporate advisory board. You're also the health and well-being framework partner as well. So Lynette, thank you so much for sharing one aspect. And then next, we're looking forward to hear Sankopan, from the global perspective, that what your initiative at the global level. So we'll be hearing from Timo. Yeah, hi Timo, how are you?
Yes, hello, Joy. Thank you for the invitation and good afternoon, everybody. So,
Hi, good morning. Yeah, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So, in these 10 minutes that we have in front of us on my presentation, again, thank you for the invitation. A little bit from my side, I'm Timo Marquez. I work on the market development team, specifically within the sustainable business development team. And our role is basically to work with clients all around the world and with business units on how to improve our solutions offers to make sure it meets our purpose, making the world a better home, where we have the mission of being the world leader in light sustainable construction. To start the presentation, just to remind you, we have globally like three major trends that we're currently seeing. One of them is quite obvious on energy and the decarbonization. All major cities and countries are approaching that. We have another one on resource and circularity, which is quite important in terms of how to best use of the materials we have. And the third one, but also quite key, is on health and well-being. And those three trends are trends that we have in our core strategy within Sankopan at global level. So all our countries and business units have those strategies in hand. But when we talk about health and well-being, there's two aspects that we address. Let's say during the construction phase, we have to take care of the installers that are putting our products in the different buildings, making sure that they have less risk of respiratory problems when they carry heavy loads and put them in different places that are put in danger to their safety throughout the construction phase. So that's an important part for us when we talk about health and well-being. And then we have, as we were talking before in the previous panels, or users, as Katrina was mentioning at the beginning. 90% of our time is indoors, so we have to take care of how our occupants and users perceive comfort in terms of their indoor health environments. To continue at a global level, because health and well-being is a part of what we do every day. Our employees are also an important stakeholder on that process in terms of what are we doing to improve their conditions, not in terms of productivity, but also in terms of leisure, in terms of mental health, well-being. As I mentioned before, our customers, but also our communities. Keeping in mind we have different sites, industrial sites in different countries where we produce our solutions. So the communities in general are also impacted by our activities. So putting them in mind in terms of what are we doing. In that regards, we have a health charter which clearly describes our commitments towards these different stakeholders in terms of how to minimize any potential negative effects on their health, but also maximizing their comfort within the places they work and live. I like to share an example because it's always nice to see figures when we talk about health and well-being. What you've seen on your presentation is the results of the North American headquarters in the United States, where we renovated a building that was certified LEED Platinum back in 2016. But one of the important insights from that is that we did a 36-month program to understand the impact of this transformation, going from an old building to a new building with different considerations. And you can see in the results, actually, you can download the results online, and I can share the link on the chat later on. But you can see that 56% of the occupants answered that their visual comfort was increased. 42% indicated that the acoustic comfort was also improved from the previous conditions and after the renovation. Over 90% indicated an improvement in indoor air quality, which is quite important because if you remember back in the 80s, we had this whole sick building syndrome. So how to address better the construction to improve the air quality of the indoors. And around 5% mention an improvement in thermal comfort. You can see in the images a little bit what we have done inside and outside. As Esther was mentioning before, bodies of water are important in terms of the overall environment well-being. So there's a proximity of a body of water to the building. There's also 2 kilometers of walking trails. So when people want to go outside and discuss, exchange, think about different issues, they can have that possibility to actually be with biodiversity in outside. But also, in terms of performance, you see on the slide the impact it had on the sales team in terms of identifying leads from the year previous to the shift from one place to the other, and afterwards, the line in blue. So this is interesting to see that effectively when you incorporate a lot of comfort and well-being considerations in the design of new buildings, but also in the renovation of existing buildings, quantifying these impacts are quite important. And this is an example of what we're doing, let's say, internally for our employees, but also for our clients when we provide our solutions. In this, we push this throughout all of our activities via this framework that we call Sustainable Construction by Saint-Gobain, where we address better for the planet, better economic value, better quality, but also better for the people, where we address job and health, safety, and well-being. And in these two specific pillars, we have certain drivers that we use throughout our value chain process, from product innovation, product design, to commercial offer, to exchanging with our customers, and then the follow-up afterwards in terms of the impact that we have. And these are some of the drivers that we use for jobs and safety on the job site, reducing hazardous substances during installation, what is inside the products, are they verified, are they third-party verified, do they comply with not only the local but also international standards and regulation, and are we improving job conditions? Is the material easy to install? Does it emit dust? What is the odor like? And other things to make sure that when the installers put these products in place, they work as they were thought to. And similar drivers for the user side, you're probably aware of all of them, is in terms of indoor quality, better acoustic, thermal comfort, and visual comfort. So we make sure that all products from the design phase down to the installation and the follow-up in terms of the impact, we take these drivers into account in terms of what is our embodied carbon footprint of these. Are they allowing a light to pass through to meet the luxes required depending on the different applications? Do they improve the acoustic performance, whether it's for school, for offices, for health buildings, or other type of building types? And can then guarantee within the building performance the thermal comfort of the people. And with this, I'd like to finish my presentation with this slide, just to keep in mind that the evolution of health and comfort has evolved a lot from the 70s and the 80s, talking about sick building syndrome. Then through the 90s, with all the trends and certain certifications, BREEAM, LEED, ASHU, DGNV, Green Mark, CERTA, they all have these components in mind. And obviously right now, after the COVID and the pandemic, we have other aspects of our being that we need to push forward. So I think the evolution of where the discussion have gone in terms of well-being are quite complex but interesting in terms of finding solutions that best address the indoor environment, but also, as it was mentioned at the beginning, the biodiversity and the impact on our exterior environment. So with that, I thank you very much. I will be sharing through in the link in the commentaries the results of the study from our North American headquarters. And thank you for the invitation to this webinar, Joy.
Thank you so much, Timo. And it's really great to hear about how your vision pointing us to the future of health and well-being. That really opened up a lot of potential for many people in different area in the industry as well. Again, thank you so much for Saint-Gobain's continued support to the World Green Building Council and continue to supporting us in the best way. So if you have any questions, please drop in the comments and we will try our best to answer you via the chat as well. Thank you, Timo.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. All right. So next we will have Katie. Katie is from Bureau Hapot, which is also one of our amazing health and well-being support and partner in the World Green Building Council as well. Hi, Katie. You look amazing today.
Hello, Joy. Nice to meet you, and also everybody.
Nice to meet you. And the stage is yours.
Thanks. So, hello everyone again, and this is Kathy from Bureau Hapot's Hong Kong Sustainability Team. And today I'm going to share how we fuse health and well-being design features to create a people-centered environment, as well as some case studies in Hong Kong where we placed user experiences as one of our key design pillars. Health and well-being in the indoor environment are actually essential to occupant productivity and also overall satisfaction. At Bureau Hapot, we usually focus on two key themes, the healthy environment and also the healthy behavior. That is, we not just carefully ensure that all environmental elements are designed according to the best people experiences, including the air, thermal comfort, acoustic, lighting, water quality, and also healthy materials selection. But we also try to encourage people to live healthily by optimizing the functional space design so that they can have healthy eating, they can walk more, and they can collaborate with each other. So that's the reason why we are going to emphasize health and well-being in our consultancy work. In the following sections, I'm going to share 3 projects in our local team, 2 of which are the Merit Award entries for the future and existing building categories in the Advancing Net Zero Carbon competition organized by the Hong Kong Green Building Council. And the last one, the Wan Chai Esplanade, is a design proposal on the Wan Chai complex site development. Firstly, let me introduce our future building entry in the ANZ competition. This building has been optimized for health and well-being through, firstly, microclimate analysis, and secondly, designed for the best occupant experience. As you may see in the bottom right corner, this is the microclimate analysis that we carried out with the design team to enrich the surrounding environment, the environment and pedestrian level, the comfort experiences. We not only created a wind corridor along the pedestrian street, but also increased the building permeability at the podium level. And this empty bay design at the podium has been verified by the CFD modeling that the downwash effect occurs when the east wind blows against the project building, as you may see in the simulation diagram again, means that any prevailing wind has been allowed to penetrate through the building and also provide a good wind environment to the pedestrians. Another proposed measure is to mitigate the urban heat island effects. And our strategy was to plant vines along the exposed columns and encourage them to grow up the structure, as you may see on the upper left corner of this slide. And this not only reduced the sun's heat absorption and the thermal conduction to the building, but also enhances the visual appearance of the structure, not just like the bold structure that we've used, and we try to encourage these elements to enhance their appearance. And then changing social dynamics. of how buildings are used are also another key strategies to enhance the occupant experience. Here, the opportunity to integrate multiple functions into the building allows our occupiers to experience a true co-living or co-working environment. And the development of community-based activities, such as sports, means that the building utilization level can significantly increase. Maybe this slide, it used to be a video, but it can't be played here. So yeah, but you can see in the lower level of this building, they actually have a multifunctional space that we integrate several functional space and in the building, so that it's not just the boring office, but also there are multiple space that people can enjoy their leisure activities in outside their office hours. And the next case study is our existing building entry in the same competition, where we also put a heavy focus in wellness and also human health. Starting from the bottom of this building, we had a main entrance consists of a large, sufficiently daylit atrium connecting all main public floors into a new dynamic future community. And inside the atrium, we have a wide and easily accessible staircase, and then it can have a large impact on encouraging occupants to move more throughout the day. In the middle floor, we also have the ultra sustainable climate cells to provide the higher energy, ventilation, climate control, and health performance directly connected to community and social spaces. And on the rooftop area, the final revolution of the building is the 10 floors residential and workplace, aiming to answer the needs of a growing community without developing natural land. One key space to highlight in this project is our arrival area. That is a semi-outdoor space that opens up towards the surrounding neighborhood. And we embed several outdoor comfort strategies here, including the maximum shade and the integration of tree and site landscapes, as well as the permeable design to protect people from the harmful sunlight. This is also validated using our outdoor thermal analysis, which shows that more than 50% of the time that people will feel comfortable in this semi-outdoor space. And then we also provide comfortable seating in this space so that people group interplay and discussions are encouraged. And then altogether, this space becomes a direct indoor-outdoor linkage, and it also features a comfort gradient transition from outdoor to indoor, not just enhancing occupants' comfort experiences, but also reduce the energy consumption. The last piece of work that I'm going to share is the Wan Chai Esplanade, a design proposal that our team worked with the multidisciplinary team to redevelop the Wan Chai government complex site in Hong Kong. And for this project, we want to transform this complex site into an elevated walkway that people enjoy spending time in. So we incorporated both wellness and social engaging design considerations. Start with the healthy design elements. We firstly ensure that air quality is carefully controlled by introducing air purification strategies, such as the air purification chimney or water chimney that help purify the outdoor air. And we also care about the occupant. We also care about occupants' experience, not just on the walkway, but also below deck. So from here, we have the glass floors of the elevator walkway so that daylight can penetrate from the sky through strictly through the walkway, so that it can arrive the pedestrian level, so that below that it is also well lit. And then green features are the highlights of this esplanade. And by incorporating as much greenery as possible, the air pollutants can be filtered naturally, and therefore clean natural ventilation is allowed in the walkway. And apart from that, as Hong Kong is located in the hot climate, we also suggest mixed cooling system so that the pedestrians can be cooled down by the cool water spray during the hot summers. And the esplanade is also regarded as a key connector to the modern and old parts of Wan Chai, and also brings green landscape to promote community connection. The design proposal also allowed large amounts of public space integrated with street furniture, such as street arts and water feature, so as to encourage people come together and interact, and therefore facilitating social interaction. And so that's all I'm going to share today, and I hope you enjoy my sharing. And if you have any question, please feel free to drop me a message. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie. It's amazing to see how computer simulations and also those technologies are helping us to learn more about how health and well-being impact us. And that level of precision is a very amazing level to help that holistic design approach. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you. So next, we will have also another health and well-being program support from Shaw Contract. We'll have Todd to share with us their approach as well. Just bring him over.
Green Building Council Asia Pacific Network. Greetings from Chennai, India, where Shaw Contract is holding one of 9 regional judging events around the world for our Design Awards program. You can actually see some of the projects up on the wall behind me right here. Thank you for letting us join your session today, and I apologize that we have to do this by video. The timing just did not work out for our team. At Shaw Contract, we are honored to be supporting the World GBC's efforts around the health and well-being framework. As a leading global flooring provider, Shaw Contract is a human-centric, people-powered organization with an ambition for progress in every fiber of our being. For us, sustainability intricately links both people and the planet, which is why we design products and solutions for our customers with their needs in mind, because everyone counts. We do this through 4 ambitions: material health, circular economy, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and carbon impact. We believe all of these are interconnected in addressing the health and well-being of both the planet and its people. As we have navigated these past few years, we have learned just how significant our surroundings are to our health and well-being. In fact, in New York City, the Parsons Healthy Materials Lab research found that genetics determine only 10% of human diseases, while the environment triggers the remaining 90% of diseases, from cancers to diabetes. The products we manufacture and specify for buildings have a significant impact on occupant experience and health. And with people spending, on average, 90% of our time indoors, it has become more important than ever to consider all the impacts of the built environment on our individual health and well-being. And one way we live this commitment to people at the center of all we do is through our commitment to cradle-to-cradle design. If you're not familiar with cradle-to-cradle, the certification for products represents a third-party validation of a manufacturer's sustainability claims. So what is the cradle-to-cradle design philosophy? Well, it was founded by sustainability thought leaders William McDonough and William Brongart, and the cradle-to-cradle design philosophy provides a framework for industry to design products that mimic nature's plan for materials to serve as nutrients circulating in healthy, safe cycles. So what does it mean for a product to be cradle-to-cradle certified? It means that a product has to be assessed in each of the following key sustainability categories: material health, which includes a toxicological review of the chemistry of the ingredients that go into our products; product circularity, which is designing products that contribute to the circular economy, using recycled materials and designing for reuse; clean air and climate protection, utilizing clean, renewable sources of energy, mindful of the carbon impact and carbon emissions from the manufacture of the product; water and soil stewardship, protecting our precious natural resources; and social fairness, which is considering people at all stages of the value chain, from our suppliers to our own operations, and ensuring no forced labor, safe working conditions, preventing exposure to hazardous chemicals, and access and equity for everyone. Cradle to Cradle supports our human-centered approach to sustainability because it addresses both environmental health and the human experience at the same time. Certification not only recognizes progress to date, but also requires continuous improvement. Our EcoWorks carpet tile, which is what we make here in Asia, was Shaw's and the flooring industry's first Cradle to Cradle certified product. And today, almost 90% of the products we make are Cradle to Cradle certified. It's a commitment we made more than 20 years ago as a way not only to differentiate ourselves in the market, but more importantly to help verify the work we do to manufacture products that support the well-being of people and the planet. As an enterprise, Shaw has the most certified platforms of anyone in the flooring industry. And in 2021, we became the first manufacturer globally to achieve Cradle to Cradle certified silver for our EcoWorks back carpet tile to the new, most rigorous standard to date, version 4.0. Cradle to Cradle certified version 4.0 features new and enhanced requirements in all performance categories, including improved alignment of material health requirements with leading chemical regulations and other standards, including a new restricted substances list and more stringent recycled content testing requirements. New frameworks for product circularity, including specific recycled content requirements and public access to documentation. Enhanced expectations in clean air and climate protection to promote urgent action to address climate change. The addition of soil was added with expanded requirements in water and soil stewardship to ensure clean water and healthy soils are available to people and all other organisms. Additionally, more specific documentation around providing safe and hygienic water for associates and near and midterm goals had to be outlined and made publicly available. Additional documentation about our company's human rights policies and how suppliers are engaged in defining global best practices for social fairness. This includes risk assessments of our companies and all Tier 1 and some Tier 2 suppliers, and explicit documentation on our company's commitment to social fairness. Third-party on-site audits are required every 2 years for any facilities or suppliers located in a listed de facto high-risk location such as China. Using Cradle to Cradle as a guidepost for all we do has allowed us to continually innovate to meet customer expectations. As the first flooring manufacturer to offer a PVC-free, fully recyclable carpet tile with EcoWorks back in 1999, and as conversations around circular economy continue to rise, later this year we'll launch Bottle Floor, a new hybrid flooring innovation. Made of 100% PET, Bottle Floor takes plastic bottle waste to become a valuable resource in the circular economy. We were honored at the NeoCon show in 2021 in Chicago in the US for both sustainability and innovation with this product, which is a PET composite flooring that blends the performance of a hard surface flooring with the acoustic sound, absorption, and slip resistance of carpet. This revolutionary new platform is constructed with 30% post-consumer recycled bottles, taking waste bottles and recycling them into beautifully designed, highly durable flooring. And at the end of its useful life, Bottle Floor is fully recyclable to be made into the next generation of reworks flooring. Our ability to listen to customer needs and to provide flooring solutions that meet the performance demands of a space and take into consideration the health and well-being of the occupants of that space and the planet is something we take very seriously. In addition to our close relationships with our corporate sustainability team and their work with organizations like the World Green Building Council, the International Living Futures Institute, the Cradle to Cradle Products Innovation Institute, and others, we have WELL AP certified account managers and several active board members on green building councils across the globe. We value these relationships and our ability to listen and respond to the ever-changing market needs. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Todd, as well. So this is also reinforcing what Katrina was sharing earlier, is the whole life cycle of health and well-being. So speaking about this, the next phase of our webinar will move to the Green Building Council's initiative. So first, we wanted to hear from Mario about what are the initiatives from the Philippine Green Building Council. Hi, Mario. Nice to meet you again.
Hi, Joy.
Hi, the space is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. And thank you for having the Philippine Green Building Council share our insight in the promotion of better places for people and health and well-being of people in buildings, districts, and cities. So let me share with you our experience in developing a new health and well-being tool in the Philippines in our current pilot implementation of this tool. So we recognize this global shift in how we design, construct, and operate our buildings with a particular focus on sustainability. And green building rating tools have been the major catalyst in this transformation in our industry. And we've been seeing the positive benefits of creating market incentives for addressing buildings' environmental performance, exemplified by the impact of the various green building rating tools all around the world. And while these tools traditionally focused on environmental concerns, they also addressed social concerns when building green, including user comfort, accessibility, contribution to the community, and the overall health and well being of users. For the Philippines, early in the promotion of green building in the country, we were very deliberate in incorporating environmental, economic, and social priorities when building green, particularly in developing the Verde Green Building Rating System, which is the national voluntary green building rating system in the Philippines. We made sure to address socioeconomic priorities such as indoor environment quality, pedestrian mobility, accessibility, and even heritage conservation and promotion as priorities for green buildings in the country. And since 2018, we were already looking at how do we now shift the conversation towards a more holistic approach and expanding the view of what green buildings are able to do when addressing socioeconomic priorities. And as part of the comprehensive set of tools that the PhilGBC has now developed and is administering in the industry, we are continuing to improve the Bear the Green Building Rating System. We are promoting net zero energy through the Advancing Net Zero Philippines program, or ANZPH. We are creating better connections with suppliers of green materials and services through our Green Building Procurement Hub, or Green Building PH. And now we are developing the PhilGBC Health and Wellbeing for Buildings Rating Tool, or the HNW tool. The PhilGBC Health and Wellbeing for Buildings tool was developed to measure, monitor, and certify the performance of projects based on social, economic, and environmental priorities that affect the health and well-being of users. And to ensure the quality of this tool, H&W is developed in line with international standards for standards development and harmonized with national and international building, health, and environmental standards. For rating tools developed under the PhilGBC, we make sure that there is stakeholder consultation and engagement and proper piloting to ensure the quality and effectivity of the system before it is officially released for the public's use. So the zero draft of the pilot version prepared by the Secretariat is currently undergoing pilot implementation by developer members of the PhilGBC. And once we finish this pilot, the Secretariat will be revising the draft as the initial draft, incorporating the feedback from the users, the insight gathered from stakeholder consultations, including meetings with our national government's Department of Health and Department of Labor and Employment, and insight from discussions with the advisory committee with experts from the building and health sectors. Once we finalize this draft, the final draft will be forwarded to our Board of Trustees of the PhilGBC for its final approval before it is officially released as the very first version of the HNW tool. So the rating scheme will be applied to the design, construction, and operations of building projects and to the whole building, or even used for tenant spaces that are owned or leased within a building. And the focus of the tool is on the interventions of projects and its impact to the project team, your employees, and even the project end users of buildings. The core framework of the Health and Wellbeing for Buildings tool defines the different objectives and requirements that are essential when developing a healthy and well building project. For the development of the credits under these different categories, we are guided by this framework on the screen now to ensure that each credit is addressing a clear sustainability target. It is applying to different stages of a project lifecycle, providing clear requirements that may be policy, people, process, product, or performance requirements, and addressing concerns that are specific to a project type or occupancy type when appropriate. So the first category is on health, which focuses on physical and mental conditions of our project users. We can protect and improve our project users' health through physical and mental health programs and through maintaining healthy spaces in the project. We also want project proponents to prioritize and look at the impact of how we design and operate our buildings to the mental health of our users. So creating opportunities for restoration and relaxation within our buildings, as well as implementing mental health programs during the building's operations, will provide positive benefits to the people who live, work, and play in our buildings. The comfort category focuses on the impact of our spaces to the overall comfort and well-being of users. Projects that address these concerns ensure users are comfortable in working and living in these spaces that helps in improving their overall productivity and well-being. In addition, well-designed spaces addresses the diverse physical and mental capabilities of users. So we should ensure that our projects allow for access to all and does not discriminate against the physical and mental capabilities of users when moving within and using the different spaces in our projects. The lifestyle category focuses on the project's positive influence on users' physical health and nutrition. Planning and implementing projects that encourage an active lifestyle through design interventions and programs during operations will encourage users to move and be more physically active within and outside the project. Positively influencing the user's health may also be achieved through reducing barriers to the availability and affordability of healthy food choices. The social category focuses on providing long-term value to the community and improving the quality of life in the project. So consulting your stakeholders in your project and the community will help in identifying their social and economic priorities and help in identifying strategies to address these priorities. Creating a strong connection with your external and your internal community will help ensure the social sustainability of your project. And lastly, the environment category focuses on the benefits to your users when providing access to nature in the project and properly managing your resources and materials used. The tool rewards the continued commitment of projects to the environmental sustainability and its co-benefits to the project's users' health and well-being. Properly managing solid waste and effluent and promoting transparency in the procurement and use of materials reduces your employees and your users' exposure to hazards and risks. So the intent of the pilot program is to check the effectiveness of the implementation of the current development draft of the pilot to the pilot projects and to identify the issues and challenges in the implementation of the rating scheme and to incorporate appropriate changes in the rating scheme based on the feedback on the use of the rating scheme. So after the pilot implementation of the tool, the PhilGBC Health and Wellbeing for Buildings Rating Tool will be available to the public, and projects may be certified by completing the formal assessment and certification process. Projects may be awarded with the equivalent rating based on the rating they achieved through the assessment process and certified under the PhilGBC Health and Wellbeing for Buildings Rating Scheme. So we've invited members of the PhilGBC to participate in the pilot program, and we are currently undergoing the process with NEO and Philinvest Alabang in the use of the pilot version of the tool. So after the pilot, we will be opening the registration for projects to the public, and version 1 will be launched during the PhilGBC's annual Building Green Conference in September, in line with our celebration of the National Green Building Day in the Philippines and the World Green Building Month, and our opening to our celebration of the Global World Green Building Week. So you may access the current development version of the tool at healthph.org, and we welcome your comments and your insight to further improve the tool before its official release during our Building Green Conference in September. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mario. Really looking forward to the launch of this health and well-being building tool And also looking forward to hear more about case studies about how buildings are integrating the health and well-being. So keep us updated for this. Thank you. All right, next we wanted to hear from Malaysia Green Building Council. We have Karen representing the Malaysia Green Building Council as council member. Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, I'm doing
Hi.
fine. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, the stage is yours.
Okay, thanks, Joy. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Karen from Malaysia GPC, and thanks for having a Malaysia GPC to share on our roadmap from year 2021 to 2025. Okay, Green Building Council we are actually an independent and non-profit organization made from the businesses and organizations working in the building and construction industry. And our vision is to transform the building and construction from the current businesses as usual to the sustainable direction. And our efforts, we also involve policymakers, professionals, and society at large in the quest to raise the awareness of all stakeholders of the building and construction. And our quest is to key driving force towards a sustainable built environment in Malaysia. Okay. The key roles of Malaysia GPC is we do a lot of collaboration and support. We get a good support from our government and industry to develop the sustainable built environment. And we facilitate exchange of knowledge when we come to building environment. We also is a reference center for sustainable building resources and a working platform for networking on sustainability matters, be it in within the national region or internationally. We do promote and stimulate demand for sustainable buildings, and we support, promote, and provide input to the Malaysia's Green Building Index. Okay, this is just a summary of the journey of a Malaysia Green Building Council. It has been initiated in year 2007 by an industry players who met up to create a non-profit making organization towards sustainability. So in year 2009, we have actually formed Malaysia Green Building Confederation and Malaysia First Green Building Rating Tool, that is a GBI. And moving forward to in 2011, we have our first GPM, Green Pages Malaysia, which is a platform for us to publish all the green materials and services for the references of the professionals. And in 2015, we have been recognized by WGPC. Beyond that, we also form our Northern and Sabah chapter. In 2019, we move another step forward. That is, we form our Southern chapter, and we cover majority of the geographically of Peninsula and East Malaysia. And I think at the moment we are looking at Sarawak chapter. Okay, in today, Malaysia's GPC actually is leading the key driving force towards a sustainable built environment in Malaysia. We don't just look at the green building rating tools alone, but we also look at a net zero carbon, UN SDG and ESG, and health and well-being, green financing, circular economy as well. Okay. In these 5 years, starting from 2021 to 2025, our mission actually is to transform the building and construction sector across 3 strategy areas, that is climate action, health and well-being, and resources and security. So how are we going to achieve it is, as a member of a World Green Building Council and UN Global Compact, we work with businesses, organizations, and governments to drive the ambitions of the Paris Agreement and UN global goals for sustainable development. We also committed for this ESG and focusing on the environment. And through this system change approach, our network actually is leading the industry towards a net zero carbon, healthy, equitable, and resilient built environment. And why do we assist? It's because buildings and construction account for 39% of energy-related CO2 emissions. Okay, what is our goal for climate action is to promote green buildings and advancing net zero towards the decarbonization of the built environment. So for health and well-being, we also look at this adopting and applying the UN SDG and ESG for our industry, healthy, equitable, and resilient, build a very healthy environment. And the resources and security is we also build an environment that supports the regeneration of resources and natural systems, providing socio-economic benefit through a driving circular economy, cradle to cradle. Okay, our roadmap initiative for these 5 years, as mentioned, we covered these 6 points. That is green buildings to create climate awareness, UN SDGs and ESG, net zero carbon 2, health and well-being, green financing, and circularity. Okay, so if you look at this roadmap, if you look at point number 4 is basically is our health and well-being concern, and our measurement target is we actually plan to have 3 webinars per year and 2 free webinars with government agencies per year to create awareness to the public. And projects and competition, we also look at this direction to have some award for best health and well-being project development or health and well-being guidance, starting with A quality for pandemic. Okay, this about measurement targets, we actually focus in promoting post-pandemic building designs to respond to the challenges posed by the coronavirus in terms of air ventilation and sanitation requirements. We also include other aspects of health and well-being into the above factor in order to contribute towards the achievement of new and existing high-performance buildings. We also ensure high-quality health and well-being environment within buildings, so to foster greater innovation and creativity, thereby achieving greater productivity. Okay, our health and well-being direction is aligned with the World Green Building Council, which with the COVID-19 pandemic, we bring in the link between the built environment and human health into focus and match with the frameworks of the 6 principles that expand the indoor air quality, human rights in the supply chain, climate change resilience, and more. Okay, our upcoming webinar, we focus on this is we have 2 webinars, and this year that is in September, another one will be in December. So in September, the upcoming one will be, we focus on this webinar title, Importance of a Healthy Building, which we will touch on World GBC framework on health and well-being, Malaysia GPC framework on health and well-being, and we also will touch on this health and well-being versus productivity, and a better health channel. And each and every of our webinar, we actually have our SDG committee come into the picture, and in the end of the day, they will actually tie it back on our webinar objective with our SDG goal. Okay, so when we talk about better health channels, this is something that which I would like to share. In Malaysia, we have this one Utama rooftop farm. One Utama actually is a shopping mall. It's a quite a well-known shopping mall in Klang Valley, and they have this rooftop farm which they encourage on this urban farming thing, and it has been quite popular within the community, which they claim that it's 100% pesticide free, and anyone can go and harvest your own vegetables and pay at the counter. So it's also tied back with the food supply chain continuity. Okay, another webinar that we are having is in this coming December 2022, which we call it a health and well-being building design. in the entire month, the team, we actually focus on building design, which we will invite architect to come in and give awareness to the public what is a health and well-being architecture is all about. And we also will touch on this biophilic design. Okay, not just that, we also will give some points like on pest sustainability on the building design. Basically is because, just give you an example, like in green building, we have this double roof system, okay, which is actually with the point to have a good thermal insulation. But when you come to like pest sustainability, okay, just for example, it's an environment concern. That area is infested with birds, and you have trees which the birds love to hang around at this tree. So double roof system may not be an ideal design, okay, because the birds will be hanging around at this gap, okay, between the double roof. So these are the things that we will cover in the upcoming webinar. So with this, that's all from our side. So I would like to end my presentation. I'll pass it to Joy.
Thank you, Karen. Looking forward for all these webinars coming along, and stay tuned with the Malaysia Green Building Council as well. Thank you. Next, we will have our dear Anand. He's definitely one of our best friends in the World Green Building Council. He's also the Vice Chair of Asia Pacific Regional Network. Hi, good afternoon, Anand.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Joy, and good afternoon, friends.
Stage is yours.
Yeah, good morning and good afternoon to all our friends who are listening to this wonderful APN festival focusing on this month's theme on health and well-being initiatives. So we from the India GBC are pleased to share our initiatives on the health and well-being. As you are aware, the Indian Green Building Council was formed by the CII, which is a 125-year-old Apex Industry Association in year 2001, with a vision of enabling a sustainable built environment for all. When we say it's all, it goes beyond the human beings. The flora and fauna and every biodiversity and every element is included. And we are also a very proud founding member of the World Green Building Council, which celebrated its 20 years of its service to the whole globe very recently in London. So India GBC is a proud founding member of the World Green Building Council. So being green, as far as India is concerned, as far as IGBC's definition goes, is very foundational and fundamental for the health and well-being also. So that is the reason I'm taking the route. Green buildings are very essential in order to upgrade as a health and well-being also. So as far as IGBC is concerned, a green building is the one which conserves natural resources. Number 2, uses less water. Number 3, optimizes energy efficiency. Number 4, it generates less waste. Number 5, last but not the least, provides the healthier spaces, which we articulated way back in 2001 itself. So these are all like the 5 fingers, like what we have in our palm. It addresses on the site-related concerns, water, energy, material, and indoor air quality. So somehow the IGBC, the Indian stakeholders involved in the construction, love the number 5, I think. Like what we have 5 fingers in our palm. As I told you, the IGBC's Green Building Rating Program, ever since we started in 2001, addresses on the site selection, the water conservation, enhancing the energy efficiency, bringing in the enhanced material resources, the indoor environmental quality. So these 5 elements are holistic and integrated way in our IGBC's rating program, and which is not alien to us. India has a rich heritage, and even on a conservative side, our India's history is minimum 6,000, 7,000 years old. So we in the spiritual world worship the 5 elements of nature. We call it as an earth, water, fire, air, and sky for 5,000 years. So this is like when we started IGBC, the green building, the rating tool is like a rediscovery of our own Indian yathas. So as I said earlier, the IGBC's rating program exactly and completely in alignment with our ancient wisdom of building or designing the building or even conceiving the building in harmony with the nature and built around the environment. This is how our foundational and strong philosophical and spiritual element which guiding all our designers, architects, and end users in India as far as the green building space is concerned. So we are the only council in the whole world to have 30 different rating programs, because ever since we started in year 2001, every building typology is a different animal species by itself, tongue in cheek, and I can say, because a commercial office building is completely different from a residential project. A residential project is completely different from a data center. A metro rail network is completely different from a IT office. So that is the reason we in IGBC, ever since we started in year 2001, had different rating programs. You are able to see it from the slide. Commercial rating alone for the new and the existing and many subcategories, we have different rating programs. Same is the case with residential, both for the green field projects, for the existing green affordable houses, as well as for the affordable houses also, we have 3 different categories. And for the last 5 years, aligned with the World GBC's global net zero carbon target, as well as the Indian stakeholders and IGBC board members, we have started moving into the net zero. 2017, we have launched the net zero energy to start with. We have a step-by-step approach on the net zero energy, net zero water, net zero waste. Today's focus is on the last but not the least, the 30th rating program, what we launched long time ago, a couple of years ago, on the IGBC's health and well-being. So that is how I am going to talk for another 8 more minutes. So with the support of all the Indian construction industry stakeholders, as I am talking to you, more than 7,931, almost 8,000 building projects are adopting various IGBC rating programs amounting to 8.23 billion square feet. I repeat, 8.23 billion square feet of space across 500 towns and cities across the country of India are adopting IGBC's rating program. With various initiatives launched with the support of stakeholders, we are widening our range and reach across the country. So ever since we started our green building movement, we believed in green makes business sense is our tagline. So we are able to add enormous amount of value to the designers, MEP consultants, contractors, end users, and facility managers, and all the stakeholders in offering enormous amount of tangible benefits. For example, every IGBC certified project, a commercial project, is able to showcase almost 40 to 50% reduction in the energy consumption when compared with the conventional building in their own same neighborhood or in the same climatic zones. Same is the case with water consumption, almost on a conservative basis, 30 to 40% reduction when compared with the conventional buildings we are able to showcase by adopting our IGBC's rating program. Apart from the tangible benefits to the end users or the owners, we are able to showcase and document enormous amount of environmental benefits, because every million square feet of an IGBC rated project, a commercial project, there is a substantial reduction in the electrical demand itself. When the electrical demand comes down, the energy consumption comes down, we are burning less amount of oil and the coal in our power plants. So it has an environmental benefits beyond our boundary of the green buildings. So environmental benefits are also quantified. Health and safety benefits also, by enhancing the quality levels or the indoor air qualities and others, we are able to bring in the enhancement in the occupant comfort levels. Productivity has gone up. Accessibility of the daylights and the views for the occupants has enhanced. So these are the benefits one is able to envisage by adopting IGBC's rating program. Apart from that, the entire team, the entire design team and the construction team and the end users and facility managers, while they adopt our IGBC's rating program, they are all exposed to the world-class standards and procedures. So with the rich experience of the first 15 years on the green building network, we are the first one to launch the IGBC health and well-being rating in the country. We are pleased to mention that then CEO Terry Wills of World GBC, in the presence of Tai Li Shang, who was the CEO of the World GBC, launched IGBC's health and well-being in 2017 in our annual Green Building Congress. So as you heard from me, IGBC's rating program is fundamentally based on the 5 elements of nature. Here again, the IGBC's health and well-being also has a connection with 5 senses. How by adopting our IGBC's health and well-being rating program, it is going to enhance the 5 senses like smell, taste, sight, touch, and sound, which in turn enhances the physical and emotional quotient of every individual living in this health and well-being adopted or certified project. In turn, it also, apart from the physical and the emotional, it also enhances the intellectual capability, the ability to think as well as the social well-being, all we call it as a bonding, which you'll see it in a minute. So the 5 elements of nature is a foundational and a cornerstone. The IGBC's health and well-being rating program, or the framework, exactly is an alignment with enhancing the comfort levels of the 5 senses, which in turn enhances the physical, emotional, and intellectual quotient, in turn enhances the quality of the life. That is the bottom line actually. So by adopting our India GBC's health and well-being rating program, all the certified projects under this particular rating are able to enhance the quality of the life. And this is a whole body and mind approach. It is not only focusing on the energy bills and the water bills. So we call it as a BMS, the body, mind, and the soul actually. So the key benefits of adopting our India GBC's health and well-being rating program is: one, it is bringing in an enormous amount of awareness creation and involvement of all the stakeholders in a building project. Number two, it improves the built environment related to the indoor environmental quality. Third, it has a positive impact on the occupant's health. Fourth, it has some financial benefits on, as well as many projects are able to document there is a attrition rates are coming down. It also enhances the safety, comfort, hygiene of the well-being of the entire occupants as well as the stakeholders walking into the building. Increased productivity, enhanced creativity, and the talent and retention is also envisaged in many projects which has adopted our rating program. It also reduces the indoor contaminants as well as the microbial count, which is all having a negative impact. And last but not the least is enhanced occupant comfort levels are always on the higher side. So these are the live pictures or the photographs we are able to see from the IGBC certified health and well-being certified project. So we in India GBC believe in building a healthier India. So initially, all the rating programs are initially for the first 2 years are focusing on the commercial buildings, or the new building rating program focused only on commercial buildings. Whereas when we're talking about the health and well-being, it moves beyond the commercial buildings. So we have created or prepared an exclusive health and well-being checklist focusing on the residential buildings, affordable housing, healthcare facilities, how IT parks, how institutional campuses, logistics parks, and others can also enhance their health and well-being by adopting this particular rating program. And India is seen as a prominent industry leader in adopting the health and well-being rating program. Many stakeholders across the different asset classes are adopting the IGBC's health and rating program, and it is also recognized as a national leader in healthy buildings. We are also part of the National Building Code, which is the Bible for the entire country and the designers, which is getting revised in another couple of years from now. So we also conduct enormous amount of awareness program, joining hands with APN and World GBC and Better Places. We have reached out to more than 1,000 clients across the country ever since we launched in 2017. So as far as our rating program is concerned, you heard from our own colleagues from Malaysia as well as from Philippines. So we are also based on the people-centric approach in improving the physical, emotional, intellectual, and social well-being. So that is the whole idea of having an exclusive rating program on the health and well-being. Because of the want of time, I will cover only the 5 case studies. This is one of the iconic multi-billion square feet of space in the financial capital in Mumbai. We call it as a Godrej 1. This has adopted the IGBC's health and well-being rating program. They have an enormous amount of enhanced measurement and monitoring devices which measures the CO2 levels, carbon monoxide, PM 2.5, total volatile organic component, to name a few, temperature and RH. And they have provided electrostatic filters used along with the germicidal lamps in order to provide a much more enhanced, healthier air. And amongst all the beautiful things which I love the most when I walk into this building is 100% of the occupied areas are all completely daylit, and it also provides a beautiful view across the building, which has a beautiful greenery as well as on the Arabian Sea on the other side. The next important thing is it has also used certified ergonomic and flexible furnitures as recommended by our Green Pro rating of IGBC as well as the IGBC health and well-being. The most important another element is they also conduct a periodical occupant survey related to health and well-being, and based on the feedback, they do fine-tune the design and the implementation features also. Next project is on Paharpur Business Center in the New Delhi, the capital of the country. and it is located in a not so great place as far as the fresh air or the ambient air is concerned. It is in a highly polluted area, whereas he is in one of the very unique measures they implemented is they have implemented some of the plants which has been scientifically proven that it absorbs all the pollutants of air. They have located in 2 different levels. All the fresh air from the ambient, which is not so good, comes through this plant before it gets into the conditioned space. Over 5,000 tested indoor plants are also installed in this Paharpur Business Center, which is India's first IGBC Health and Well Platinum rated building. And this building is equipped with more sensors in order to have a minimal touch experience much before the COVID pandemic has come. So these are the 2 features which I would love to highlight as far as this project is concerned. Next project is on urban works. It is a kind of a multi co-working spaces which has also adopted our IGBC Health and Wellbeing program. So here they have implemented many measures which are all very unique and very holistic. Which stands out here is they have lesser indoor emissions when compared with the other conventional buildings, wherein they measured it by the instruments, they monitor it regularly, and then it is also decrease the contamination. Contamination controls has been enhanced in order to have a very minimalistic level. Apart from that, here the interior designs are provided in order to inspire and motivate the occupants. These are the 2 keywords: inspire and motivate the occupants. That is how the end users are feeling this IGBC Health and Wellbeing certified space, which promotes a very collaborative working space in this particular co-working space in India. The 4th one is another corporate office. You are able to see it. Again, it is in Mumbai, the financial district, where it is highly crowded with the sky, highly long and the tall buildings like what you see in Singapore and Hong Kong. This building is also another platinum rated under the IGBC Health and Wellbeing. Here again, they have implemented many measures. Which stands out here is, as you heard from the World GBC team members, is providing a quality water. That is also part of the IGBC Health and Wellbeing rating program. Here they have implemented various measures in order to provide every building occupant and the resident as well as a visitor with a better quality and the quantity of the water. As well as here they are providing the fitness facilities in order to encourage and create awareness on the fitness amongst the occupants. These are the few things which has been provided much brilliantly. As well as here 100% of the areas are provided with adequate illumination levels and brightness, as well as they have a glare control, and wherever possible they have provided with a daylight actually. The 5th case study is from our own IGBC headquarters in Hyderabad, which is India's first platinum rated and the world's greenest building, earned in 2003, which has also become an IGBC net zero building couple of years. So though the building is very small in terms of the building size, it has very many green features. We have an integrated wind tower which brings in the natural air, treated and filtered air into our conditioned space at the ground floor. We have installed a unique bifacial 140 kilowatt solar panels very recently, 3 years ago, in order to meet majority of our electrical demand. 90% of the occupants in our office space are provided with the daylight as well as the views which are connecting to the gardens on the central courtyard as well as in and around our building. This is very, very unique. And here also we have the state-of-the-art building management system which measures the CO2 levels, which measures the lighting levels. Accordingly, it brings in more and more fresh air based on the need actually. So these are the few measures which has been implemented as far as our own center is concerned, as far as the health and well-being features are concerned. So by adopting our IGBC's health and well-being rating programs, in turn, these are the benefits articulated by the end users. Number 1, our rating programs enhance the bonding between the employees as well as the societal well-being is also being taken care. Number 2, it provides a much more fresher, clean and a safe air for all the occupants by following a popular 3M approach. We call it as a measuring, monitoring and maintaining. Next one is on balancing circadian rhythms. So the daylights and the glare and the amount of the color of the daylight or the color temperature is also equally important, which is being addressed by the IGBC Health and Wellbeing Rating Program. Superior contamination and infection control is also addressed by our Health and Wellbeing Rating Program. So as I said earlier, our objective is to inspire, in providing a multiple designs and inspire and motivate the occupants. And in turn, it should collaborate. It should promote the collaboration amongst the occupants also. Apart from the IGBC Health and Wellbeing rating program, I would also like to mention we closely work with World GBC. We are partners in our impact of green buildings on the occupants well-being measured. Better Places for People project of World GBC in 2017. We also closely worked with the Harvard TH Chan School for Public Health, which we published a report very recently in 2001. And very recently, a couple of months ago, we are working with the Danish industry for the 2 years, and we have released a report on sustainable workspaces and Indian business environment, which quantifies the intangible benefits. And this report is available in the public domain, and all the other reports are also available in the website. So this is a particular project wherein we are working with the Danish industry for last 2 years, and we are very pleased that His Excellency Ambassador of the Royal Danish Embassy released the report which measures the intangible benefits in these particular green building projects. To sum it up, ladies and gentlemen, IGBC for the last 22 years with the support of all the stakeholders across the world, we are able to bring in an exclusive rating program on IGBC Health and Wellbeing, which enhances the safety, hygiene, and contamination control in buildings which are adopting the rating program, which in turn enhances the overall indoor environmental quality. As you heard from all the speakers, we spend 90% of our time. The quality of the air we breathe in is going to decide our health and well-being in the long run. The third one, it reduces the potential NCDs and communicable diseases. This was being addressed from 2017 onwards, even before the pandemic opened up in 2019. The comfortable and productive spaces could be provided by adopting our rating program, create a stress-free environment. That is what you heard from many speakers, how the COVID and others are all bringing an enormous amount of stress, especially on the younger generations. By adopting our rating programs, we are able to provide a stress-free environments, bringing in more and more awareness on the indoor environmental quality, and tangible and intangible benefits have to be documented. So this offers enormous amount of greater opportunity for all of us in enhancing or addressing the wellness and health and well-being, the Indian way of doing it, a very holistically and integrated way, and measure, monitor, and maintain and sustain all the parameters in order to provide a better places for people. So to sum it up, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to quote from our own, the father of the nation, Mr. Mahatma Gandhi, who says about happiness, health and well-being is all about happiness. Quote unquote, Mr. Mahatma Gandhi ji says, happiness is when what you think, what you say, what you do are in harmony. So the World GBC, the APN, and individual green building councils are all doing many things in order to enhance our happiness. So that is what we think, that is what we say, and that is what we do, even as a part of the Asia Pacific Networks Festival. So thank you for the wonderful opportunity. You can log on to our website, igbc.in, or email me for any further resources. We'll be more than happy to share. Thank you, and over to you, Joy.
Thank you, Anat. Yeah, happiness. So next, we will have our Singapore Green Building Council. And this is our final sharing because Singapore is well known as the garden in the city and a beautiful place for the great health and well-being. So let's hear from James. James, over to you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Joy. Just to make sure that everyone can hear me. Okay, I think everyone can hear me. Good afternoon once again. Good morning to some of you in other parts of the world. It's a bit stressful to be the last speaker of the day, but it's also quite useful because the previous speakers have already waxed lyrical about why it's important to have a healthy and equitable built environment. So in the next 10 minutes or so, I will just briefly bring you through what the Singapore Green Building Council has been doing within the realm of health and well-being. But just very quickly, GBC, as our other GBC counterparts, we are a non-profit enabler of sustainability in the built environment, and we are a recognized certification body for green building products, services, and building professionals. And essentially, we function as a nexus of advocacy for a greener, healthier, and more resource-efficient built environment. And we work closely with our more than 430 corporate members to kind of drive green building as well as health and well-being outcomes forward. So the COVID-19 pandemic has really brought the link between the built environment and human health to focus. The health and well-being of our building occupants is now brought right to the forefront rather than be relegated to the sidelines. And there is a growing demand for the places we live, work, and play in to be safe and healthy. So when we do our communications to our stakeholders, one of the things that we really try to explore is the link between humans and buildings. So human health and well-being is essentially directly related to the indoor environment quality of a place or space. And when we do our communications, we regularly talk about something called the sick building syndrome, which occurs when the body experiences an excess of building-related irritations of the skin and mucous membranes. So in poorly managed buildings, sick building syndrome can be very apparent. So on top of physical ailments, a growing body of research has also shown that people make poorer decisions and performed worse on cognitive tests when they were in badly operated spaces. For example, a research study conducted by the Singapore Building and Construction Authority in 2017 found that occupants in Green Mark certified green buildings were less likely to experience sick building syndrome as their counterparts in more conventional non-certified buildings. So in order to kind of expound on the link between buildings and human health, we have also tried to make the link between human health and well-being as well as green building. So we actively incorporate health and well-being outcomes as part of our communications, as part of green building and sustainability. Health and well-being essentially allows green building benefits to be tangibly quantified and experienced. And this is especially useful for end users and general consumers who have no experience or little knowledge of what a green building actually is. And when you talk about something that directly impacts the health and well-being of themselves or their families, people are also a bit more receptive to sustainability messaging and will be more willing to listen. So as just a very, very quick snapshot of what we do for health and well-being, I'll go through all this in turns, but the first and most obvious activation, I would say, for health and well-being of GPC is essentially our office. So our office, we moved in early 2020, just before the COVID pandemic hit. And it was designed and renovated with an emphasis on three things: sustainability, health, and well-being. And it was also really inspired by nature to create an office in a park concept that strives to promote collaboration and productivity. And this office essentially addresses all 7 features of a green and healthy workplace that is put together, or rather put forth, by the World Green Building Council's Better Places for People project. So this chart shows you the 7 areas of the office that corresponds to each area that is outlined in the Better Places for People project. So namely IAQ, good lighting, noise and acoustics, interior layout and active design, biophilia and views, thermal comfort, as well as location and access to amenities. So key part of the office is really that it incorporates many natural elements, from different species of trees to surfaces that mimic grassy pastures, cobblestone, and pebbles. And all of the fittings and furnitures within the office have been specially selected to ensure that they bear very, 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 very low emissions of VOCs, as well as other indoor air pollutants. And all the paints used in the products go one level deeper. They are all of the VOC abatement variety. So we regularly host visitors to our office to showcase some of the design, fit out, and also to expand on some of the health and well-being outcomes that are available in the office. Okay. For industry engagement, we regularly hold talks, webinars, seminars, workshops for our members, and this can be with their own immediate staff and also with their tenants as well. So we have a booklet that has content adapted from the World GBC's Better Places for People, and they use it to kind of shape all these sharings and also provide a little takeaway for the attendees of these events. And we also regularly share H&W-centric content to our network and our community. And this is most recently done through the July 2022 e-newsletter, where the theme was actually on health and well-being. Which brings me to the next point, health and well-being events. We hold quite a lot of technical and non-technical webinars, really to help to raise awareness of green buildings and of course, health and well-being. And all these events are captured on our SGBC Digital Academy, which is our online e-learning platform, where people can go back to revisit some of the different webinars or kind of to learn more about the different aspects of health and well-being. So some of these events include putting health at the core of the new normal, linking lighting with health and sustainability, putting well-being at the heart of spatial design, as well as understanding the Living Building Challenge and WELL certification. We have upcoming webinars that will also explore the health and well-being batch of the Green Mark 2021 standard in greater detail. So this will take place sometime towards the end of July. Well, one of the major things that SGPC has done in the realm of health and well-being is to work with two other associations to form an alliance for action on sustainable spaces, with the aim to bring together stakeholders across different sectors to really create and help enhance the sustainability of our places and spaces. So the alliance will focus on the supply and adoption of low-emitting materials and furnishings in indoor spaces through three key principles, which is to advocate the use of low-emitting materials and furnishings in indoor spaces, to build on industry standards for IAQ, as well as to cultivate awareness of the importance of sustainable spaces. So to that end, the AFA itself has established a low formaldehyde commitment statement on 11th of April, really to spur greater supply and adoption of such low-emitting solutions for indoor spaces. And this was launched on 11 April in conjunction with a company visit to the premises of a homegrown paint startup that offers solutions that help break down formaldehyde in the air. So the next step is really for the Alliance to develop industry guidelines and thresholds for formaldehyde emissions and limits in common building products such as paints, coatings, as well as composite wood. One of the things that we've been doing for the past about 8 months is something called greenbuildings.sg, which is a public education resource hub that provides the wider community with a suite of knowledge points and interactive activations to really further their own green and sustainability efforts. So part of greenbuildings.sg are 3 action-oriented themes that help to enable easy understanding of key sustainability outcomes. And they are Go Natural, Go Healthy, and Go Smart. So just to zoom in on the Go Healthy bit, because this is a H&W webinar, Go Healthy essentially highlights the importance of making the right decisions for your homes, such as selecting non-toxic paints and as well as choosing renovation products with verified green credentials. So key important health outcomes are encapsulated in this theme, such as to choose low VOC materials for 1,000 times reduction in indoor pollutant levels, to clean your air conditioning filters to improve overall home indoor air quality, as well as to monitor and track indoor air pollutant levels. So this is an example of what we put out to the consumers. We really want to tell them that, hey, some of these plants that you're already cultivating are beneficial to indoor air quality. What are some of the different plants that you can buy? What are some of the properties of the different indoor air quality improving plants that you can actually make use of? And another area that we want to kind of expose homeowners to is really to the realm of indoor air pollutants. We want to expose them to terms like formaldehyde, TVOC, carbon dioxide, relative humidity, and really help them to use technology to help to track some of these different parameters at home that directly affect the health and well-being of themselves, of their own bodies, as well as that of their families. Okay, so another part of the greenbuildings.sg bit is actually something called the Build Green In-Home Planner, which is a digital game that kind of showcases the various materials that are used during a typical home renovation. The game will display facts on how this particular product impacts health and well-being when you select on it. And it just tell you, like, for example, if you select low VOC paint, it will tell you that it lessens the possibility of health ailments brought on by toxic substances. So this digital game really allows homeowners and the general consumer to quickly draw the link between their home's materials and health, and also help to kind of more or less visualize how their green home will actually look like. So the last thing I want to share is something called Sustainability in Singapore, which is essentially a behavioral change program that seeks to bring about change in building users to act more sustainably. And this is a free program that is delivered by SGPC, BCA, and GAP, which is a UK-based company that specializes in delivering behavioral change. And this is typically delivered by a group of individuals within the organization to achieve sustainability outcomes for the organization, such as through energy savings or general well-being. And the good thing about this program is that the individuals do not need any prior technical knowledge, as they'll be given plenty of training through workshops, live streams, and other meetings from both the SGBC, BCA, and the GAP teams. So in order to help kind of sell this program, the SGBC ourselves, we are currently running our own version of the SIS program, which is aimed at improving the health and well-being of our staff. So the key focus of our 10-week SIS program is really to encourage our staff members to adopt a more active lifestyle through the following campaign goals, which is to hit 15 minutes of exercise twice a week, walk at least 800 meters twice a week, and to go on the 4-kilometer long walking trail at least once every 2 weeks. And all of us are split into different teams with a good mix of fitness profiles as well as exercise habits, and to really to kind of instill a little sense of friendly competition. So we are in week 5 of our program, and we have done quite a bit. We've gone on a few walks. We have done a few Zoom-based exercises in the office, as you can see from the screenshot in the middle. And we also kind of regularly award our top performers for the week. It's really to spur them to continue doing their activities even after the SIS program is completed. So all these programs work really to help to nudge our consumers and our own staff members in the right direction. Really try them to get to be a little bit more active, get them to exercise a little bit more, and hopefully will change their behavior so that it will be one that will stick with them for a longer time. And I'd just like to leave everyone with this quote here, which I just coined like earlier. So health and well-being is really one of the most direct and communicable benefits of green buildings that we have through our work, talking about green building, talking about sustainability. Health and well-being remains one of the easiest ways to talk to people about green building, because everyone, no matter who you are, will be concerned about their own health. So if you're able to kind of channel the essence of health and well-being into a direct benefit of green building, we will make your job that much easier. And with that, I will hand the time back to Joy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, James. And it looks like having a health and well-being lifestyle is very fun as well. Thank you. So in this way, we conclude today's webinar. And then it's also with what James has said, how about we invite everyone to do something different to mark the health, or yourself a treat to eat something healthy today, or you wanted to sleep early and also maybe give yourself a little bit more peaceful time to reflect and find yourself in the peaceful and mindful states. So anything you could do to make yourself a more healthy and more wealthy as well. So in this way, thank you so much for attending our webinar today. And we will catch up with you in the next month's theme, which is resources and circularity. Bye-bye, everyone.